What's up, Fit Fam? Coach Rye from Team Flex. Today we're going to talk about figure division. We're going to go over Cyd versus Cyd, 2022 win for Figure Olympia versus 2023 win for Figure Olympia. We're going to talk about the criteria, the changes, the things that have happened, and the direction that we are heading 2024 for that season. If you want to be a figure competitor at any level, this video is going to help you do that, all right? So make sure you stick with me. I got a killer giveaway too that we're doing this week for Black Friday. You do not want to miss that, so make sure you're watching, all right? Let's go. So first things first, 2022 Cyd over here, 2023 Cyd over here, bringing her to the 7-time Figure Olympia champion, okay? And first, I want to note this. This shot over in 2023 right here, this is not in her full pose, okay? It looks funny, a little bit off, because her arms are too high. She hadn't set into her pose yet. Unfortunately, on the NPC News website, this is the closest shot we get to a front pose from prejudge that would actually work. I didn't find really any other shots. There's a few that we'll look at in here. So it's not going to be 100% straight up accurate in that look, but there's still blatant improvements. So there's no reason not to do this video and talk about it, okay? So just keep that in mind as you go. If you're looking over there and you're like, well, that pose looks weird, it's because it's not really in pose yet. And sometimes that's just what happens in the sport with the shots, all right? So, all right, figure, division, all about this V-tapered look. Really, that's what you're going to hear echoed from judges constantly, all right? And we see it in both for sure. You want to make sure that you have the width of the shoulders, taper into the waist, and the lower body then to match, okay? It matches in symmetry, shape, size, proportion. Figure is very much up and down symmetry as it is left and right symmetry. So you got to be symmetrical, shoulder to shoulder, lat to lat, quad to quad, so on and so forth. So Cyd has, really always nailed this aesthetic the most dramatic V-taper on stage. And, if you watch my figure analysis video, there was a lot more muscular athletes on stage this year, yet she's the one coming out on top. She's the one winning, and it's because of this crazy shape, all right? So let's look at 2023. So we got a lot of fullness to the shoulder here. This is good. You got to pretty much have cannonball delts if you want to be in figure. That's going to come from front delt, lateral delt, all that. I think that she did really improve her delts a little bit this year. Again, though, her focus, in my opinion, was really much more around the shape. If you look at some of the other athletes in that top 5, a lot bigger shoulders, a lot more, just overall muscle physiques, but not as shapely. And we talked about it a lot. That taper is the king and queen of figure division across the board. That's what you want to have. That's what you got to have. So that fullness in the shoulder and then the lats, okay? So Cyd definitely improved her lats from 2022. This is much more of a, she's still got the shape, but it's a narrowed look compared to the width here. And, obviously this isn't even in pose. So in pose, it would be more of a dramatic look. Her shoulders would also look, a bit more rounded and enveloped here too. They're kind of tilted back in this shot since it's not fully set in that front pose. But basically, across the board, a little bit more muscle in the lats, a little more in the shoulders. And somehow, I don't even know how she did this, okay? She really narrowed her waist even more from 2022. And if you are paying attention to figure at all, you watch figure, you're following the Olympia, everything else, she has the craziest waist in that division, period. And she has somehow improved it. Came in even more narrow in the waist and overall just brought more shoulder, more lat to really enhance her V-tapered look. So what she had already perfected really, literally 6 times over by the point she was over here in 2022, she brought it even better 2023 for the 7-time title. And that's really, really hard to do, and something that, you cannot sleep on the fact that that's pretty insane. And the judge is also giving us a clear message. V-taper is everything, all right? And if you're still watching the video, I got to remember to do this right now, okay? Before I forget, we're doing 50 free physique assessments for Black Friday, okay? Free Physique Friday is what we're calling this. I can't even say it because it's so crazy that I'm going to do 50 of these. But we did a smaller batch of these before, and people loved them. I got tons of feedback. I had hundreds and hundreds of people get on the list to try to get one, and I was like, dang, Sucks that we couldn't get to everybody, so we're doing it again, okay? We're going to do it with 50 this time, though. And so basically what the physique assessment is I'll assess your photos just like I'm doing here right now, give you, areas of improvement, timelines to make those improvements, timelines for your improvement season, and timelines for your contest prep. Literally, it changes the game from you. I get messages constantly from competitors that did this and say, wow, I shortcut this. I went and got the overall. I won my first show. I got a pro card. I'm hearing this stuff constantly with these. And that's why, I'm feeling good. It's a good season. I'm feeling like I want to give back to you. We're doing 50 of these for free. Get on the list. It's right there in the description. Just put your name on that list. We're going to draw these out. It probably is going to take me a little bit longer to do these ones once you get it. So don't expect in 2 hours it'll be there. But I'll do them as fast as I can, and I'll get you the feedback and the information you need to do your absolute best on stage. You do not want to miss this. This is crazy. I don't know how many more times I'll do this ever. I'm doing it now. 50 free. That's awesome. Let's do it. Get on that list, okay? Back to Cyd. Okay. So we looked at upper body, everything's V-taper. This is a clear message from judges okay, improve your taper even more. You can do better in figure division. That's awesome. Now lower body. Everything has to match. So when we're looking at figure division, we want to see the shoulders matching the lower body, in muscularity, size, shape, symmetry overall. Do not forget, in figure, everything has to be symmetrical, to a finite degree. Because when we can see all these, muscles going on here, little separations, little cuts here and there, everything can be much more accurately judged versus what you're going to see in, bikini or wellness where there's more body fat on the competitor. That means you're seeing less muscle, and you're not going to necessarily always blatantly be able to see any imbalances. However, in figure, 100%, you'll see it right away. If an athlete has a bigger quad sweep on one side versus the other, you'll see that, okay? So for Cyd here, really kind of maintained a lot in the lower body, which is funny because I saw so many people saying, hey, the lower body, she oversized her lower body this year. She's too big on the hamstrings and the glutes and the quad. She's not going to place. Didn't happen, okay? She knows the formula. She knows what works. She did it. She brought, you can see the glutes here from the front pose. You can see that quad sweep in. You can see all of it here. The size is just right to match with the shape of the upper body. So that is the symmetry you want to focus on as a figure competitor. And really, 2022, not too much of a difference here. Not too much of an improvement. Not any decrease either. Really, she maintained that lower body, at least in this front pose zone, okay? And so I think that really brought that. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, I'm looking at 2022, she looks better, in my opinion. Well, here's the thing. Like I said, this is an off shot. This is not a full set in front pose. I do have a shot that is similar, that is not actually, from the NPCNewsOnline website. This is an actual set in front pose. It's not from the right angle, but you can literally see, okay, there is what I was talking about. A lot of that shoulder width, a lot of the, lat width, shoulder width, all coming together. Everything's tying in, taper at the waist, perfection, vastly improved, in the sense of she maintained all that shape, but just added more muscle. And that is exactly what you should be aiming to do, especially in the figure division. Your goal is to get the shape and bring it better and better. So if you look at these two side by side, you see a lot more here. Okay, yeah, there's definitely significant amounts of improvements. Unfortunately, that shot just didn't do the job, and I couldn't get another one. All right, let's look at the back. So back pose here. We always say bodybuilding's one from the back, figure especially being one from the back. This is what we're looking at. And here we go. So she actually made the most improvements to her physique from the back, if you ask me. This is across the board what we're going to see the difference being. All right, so everything's still the taper. It's what judges want to see. They want to look at that taper, boom, boom. And then, of course, symmetry, shape, and proportion. So looking at this, 2022, we have a lot of similarities. Still good shoulder, still that. Rear delts there, good. Everything separation, nice, looks good, okay? Lats got the width, good, okay? Everything's here. This is a winning physique. This is the winning Figure Olympia, right? We're talking about that, exactly. If we look at 2023, there's some blatant improvements, though. So I think she did, like I said, add a little bit more size to her shoulders. You can see specifically into the rear delts here. A lot bigger, okay? And that's a big focus in figure. You want to make sure you're nailing that rear delt look. If you don't have that, it's going to really make your shoulders look like half developed, because basically you're not going to get that round cannonball effect. You're going to get half of a cannonball, like a turtle shell. But turtle shells are flat on one side. You don't want that, okay? So rear delt, really important. She really improved her back the most in depth. So we talk about width a lot, and that's important. That's for the taper. But judges are also looking at the depth of the back here too, because that really gives them a sign of how developed that muscle is. And the depth is these, right? So if you're looking at scaps, traps, rhomboids, everything tying in here, the lower pieces of the lat, the erectors, everything that you can see, right? That's going to be the depth. So these shadow effects are indicating more depth to her back, and you can see it too when you look at it, right? She's got all the same muscle structure, but really we're getting a lot more depth. So she's much more developed in the back, just a thicker muscle look, which it shows judges, wow, that's some depth to that muscle, that's maturity to that muscle, that is development. And also considering they judged her last year, looking at these side by side, significantly more depth to her back now, which is a good thing for her. All right. And like we talking about that waist tying in tighter happening here too. And I think it's literally partially that she cut her low lats a little bit more, right? Like she put her lats a little bit higher up in the sense of how much she was going to develop them down. And that actually gave her more of that V-tapered aesthetic, which is pretty insane. Now, lower body, okay? Lower body, Cyd was definitely weaker 2022 than she was 2023. So still has good shape and everything, but there's almost a little bit of a conditioning kind of discrepancy when you look at 2022. The glutes just look softer overall. There's still the shape and the size, but not as much separation here, especially when you look at the upper body, how lean it is compared to that lower body. So that's important to take note of. And over here in 2023, she really improved it. So more fullness to that upper glute, more fullness to the glute, better separation, better conditioning throughout. Just overall more symmetrical to go with the upper body. Because really what you got to think about, okay, anybody competing in figure or any division for that matter, you got to build a muscle. You get feedback from the judges to go build something. You got to size the rest of the physique to match that. If you're in a division, especially like figure, where it's going to come down to that symmetry up and down, left to right. If you don't have that, that's going to be a problem because all of a sudden your shoulders are bigger, but you didn't do anything to the lower body. Now, okay, you're in a spot where it's not symmetrical anymore, and that's going to score you down no matter how good you look, how lean you get, right? And that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. Conditioning-wise, not significant change. Figure is no leaner, right? There was leaner athletes in the call-out. They placed lower than her. That's important to remember because especially in figure, pretty much with all divisions, though, everybody's always chasing leaner, shred. That's not really what we're seeing. This year at Olympia, if you didn't watch the overview video, go back and watch that where we talked about kind of the call-out, everything, and how Cyd ended up pulling off the 7-time win. And we're talking about the fact that leaner athletes, more muscular athletes are placing lower than her because she has better shape, better symmetry, better muscle, and the right level of conditioning, which is not too extreme, not grainy, not hard, okay? You can see these soft separations of muscles, these lines, all this is great. That's the right level of conditioning. Hard, grainy cuts, everything like that you'll see with some of those other athletes, no go. So really that's what we're looking at for figure. Your 2024 season, really focus on your shape. Bring that taper, bring that aesthetic, and make sure everything balances. Up, down, left, right, balance across the board with the muscles, but also with the conditioning. And again, if you don't know what to improve on, you don't know where to focus, you need help, do the physique assessment. I'm doing 50 of them for free. It's insanity. I can't even believe I keep saying, every time I say it, I'm like, are you crazy, Ryan? Is this what you want to be doing? But the answer is yes. So make sure you're on that list. It's right there in the description. I'll be picking people to win this within the week here. We're going to run this few days and give everybody the opportunity to get on that list, and hopefully you'll win it. I'll let you know if you do via email. All right, get on that list, and thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Coach Rye is out.